Hey everyone, welcome back to the Winject Studios, and I'm Russ Johns, host of the Pirate Broadcast, and I just wanted to talk a few minutes about what we talked about last week. And if you didn't watch that episode, we talked about dub and how you can actually book your guests and some of the strategies that you can use in order to accomplish your goal of getting guests on your podcast, because it's absolutely critically important to do that. And one of the things that I have actually accomplished over the last 420 episodes is a system that allows me to book this thing. And what I have today, I wanted to talk about Canva, which I'll be talking about Canva and some of the things that are really cool about using Canva as a tool in your podcasting journey. However, I wanted to follow up from last week's episode and just give you a snapshot of what I have actually accomplished using dub that I shared with last week. So if you didn't watch the episode last week, go watch the episode, check it out. And if you have any questions, let me know, because I want to be able to give you an idea about what is possible. And I want to show you on the screen right now this little snapshot of what took place. So I wanted to, Tracy, my executive producer, said, "Hey, Russ, you're a little light on bookings this month. So could you invite a few people out?" So what I did was I sent some extensions out. I sent an invitation out to my list. And here's the email rate, click rates with using video and dub. Email click rate was 65% open. Call to action click rates, 52%. And then watch rates, 62%. And I want to capture this idea. So essentially, going from not being booked in June and July, I have 1 day left in June, and probably, 5 days left in July that I have booked. And this is 5 days a week. 5 days a week. So getting this community going and building up your connections and your conversations and your ability to follow up and follow through is so absolutely critically important. And rather than thinking about, oh, I need to get the big name, I got to get the big name so they can share my podcast, think about what kind of a conversation you can generate and how you can actually build on the information that you're building. Because it's so important that you have a consistent, you have consistency across your podcast. You have consistency across your ability to book and continue to book interesting people doing interesting things. Get your cadence down, get that cadence flowing. So anyway, I just wanted to give you a snapshot of what that looks like and what that opportunity is for you to book your guests on your show. So follow through, follow up, start the conversation, and keep that dialogue going. And so today, I also wanted to give you a little snapshot, and I've shared this on different platforms over time. And one of the things that I was talking about this month on the Pirate Broadcast is, it's Mental Health Month and mental awareness. And there's some things that create overwhelm. Busy entrepreneurs stay busy for a reason. And a lot of times they're busy because they want to be engaged. They want to help other people. They want to provide value to the world. And some of the things that can go off the rails is the ability and opportunity. And I need to sneeze. Sorry. And entrepreneurs have to stay organized in order to accomplish big goals. And one of the things that I wanted to share in Canva today, because this was what I wanted to share today, was the idea that you can actually create presentations that will allow you the opportunity to organize your time, your list of to-dos, the things you're doing, the projects you're working on, and the things like that. And it's a simple hack because a lot of people, you can create a list in a Word document. You can create, any number of different things. And I just thought that it was really cool to be able to offer another alternative to be able to put this in perspective of another way you can use Canva to keep your things organized and your sequence of events. Because if you go to I'm just going to pick an educational presentation here. And so I can actually add all of these pages. And the beautiful thing of it is, you can welcome to class, and I'm just picking examples here, but each page on the presentation could become a sub-project or a subtask of a group of projects. And so what you could do is you could put this in a place that actually easily in your Canva account, and you can actually access it easily, and you can actually go through and create agendas, and you can create the ability. Let me go to present here. I'm going to present this. All right. Present. Okay. So today's agenda, it could be your to-do list, and you could have the next 2 weeks or the next 5 weeks or the next 6 weeks. You could have a couple of things each day that you're going to do, and you can check these off the list, and then you can go to class. And what's really cool about this, I don't know if it's a pro count only or if it's something that you can do, but structure some of the things you're going to be focusing your time on. Sometimes I use Post-it notes, and I found that this hack is very simple. So you create something that is structured in a way that you can return back to and say, remind me, am I off track? Am I on track? Am I doing what I need to do? How is this helping me out? What is providing me with guidance here? So think about how you can actually structure these lists. Now, there's some other tools that I use, and I'll be sharing in future episodes. The goal, though, as a podcaster and somebody that's producing podcasts, you have to get your cadence down. It goes back to getting guests on your show. So if you create a presentation and you want to be able to put guests on a show, there's a certain sequence of events. It's kind of like getting things done, GTD. That's a style of organizing where it's like, okay, do, delegate, toss it, whatever it happens to be. Or you have Trello boards. You have Trello boards that you can say, okay, ideas, in action, in progress, completed, next step. There's all kinds of ways. However, I just wanted to pose this question. How are you doing it? How are you building a structure for your brand, your podcast, and everything else? And one of the things that I thought was pretty cool was just putting together a couple of slides on how this goes together. And the reason I think this is important for you to know is because as soon as you start building your team and you put things into place and you have to take and teach somebody else how to do things, if you've already categorized and cataloged and identified all the steps necessary to get a successful episode out, or you're teaching someone how to get a successful episode out the door, you can run into your presentation. And if you craft this presentation, then all you have to do is take that presentation and review it with somebody that somebody that you want to delegate responsibility to. I'm working with a new graphics designer, so I can actually provide some things in place that in some projects that I'm working on. And what I did was I just organized everything that I needed to be completed, needed to be done, and it's cost effective. I don't have to buy a subscription to ClickUp or Trello or any of these platforms, Basecamp, the list goes on and on and on. And I've tried almost every single one. Trust me, I'm familiar with them, and I doing project management for a long time. So I understand there are advantages and there are other solutions out there. And I'm not asking you to change your solutions. What I'm asking you to do or encouraging you to think about is this idea that you can actually take a simple tool, and it doesn't have to be Canva, it doesn't have to be presentations. It could be, if you have PowerPoint or if you have Google Slides or anything like that, take a simple process, break it down on each slide that has each slide identifying a simple single task that has to be completed in order to be successful. And then once you go through there and you completely understand and you can articulate that idea over and over again, then you can actually provide value, and you can use it as a classroom tool. You could do a webinar. You could create a course. You could train your staff. You could teach another person how to delegate your responsibilities. And it's quick and easy to transfer that information to someone on your team. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that's something that you can use to identify the tools and a technique to break things down into some simple common denominator. I want to be able to share a couple of ideas with you as well, because nobody is immune to being overwhelmed. We all get overwhelmed. We all have an opportunity to actually overcomplicate things on occasion. I'm a professional overcomplicator. You talk yourself into being complicated. And over the years, one of the things that, after running, multi-million-dollar projects and helping people create software and develop things over time, one of the strategies that is used across project management is breaking things down into a single task that cannot be broken down any further. And it's just an idea of saying, okay, say I need to create a proposal. Okay, what needs to be in the proposal? Well, there's certain components that need to be in the proposal. Name, contact information, scope of work. And in this scope of work, it's just like the same thing. It's like, okay, what needs to be completed in order for us to be successful? So you have to break it down. Okay, which step in that process are you going to break your podcast down? Okay, you have to get guests. Well, how are you going to get guests? What tool do you use? How is that tool being used? How is it being delivered? What's the expectation of using that tool? What's a successful outcome? How do you define success in that outcome? All of these things, you can just go through and think about each one and say, okay, can I break it down anymore? Okay, get the email. What's their first name, last name? Everybody's filled out a form at some point in time. Everybody's subscribed to a newsletter at some point in time. At least in this audience, I think there might be somebody that hasn't done that. However, you probably have. So you understand each component, each bit of information can be its own unique value. It can provide you with a step in the direction that you need to know about in order to accomplish your goal. And it's so exciting when you can actually feel like you're making progress and you're breaking it down in steps like this. And you can use a presentation, you can use a piece of paper, it doesn't really matter. I like the presentation because you can actually create a story from it. which can create a course from it, which can create training modules, which can create this abundance of content that you can actually use over and over again. And you can go back and you can correct it. You can update it. You can add slides when you want to. You can add things. And then if you're using a tool like Trello, or you're using Google Docs, or you're using ClickUp or anything like that, just link it to those templates that you're using in those tools, and you can still use it. So it's just like understanding the topic deeper. Concept and definition. You're just breaking down a concept and defining it. So booking clients, you're actually sending them a follow-up piece of information, maybe a notification before your podcast is going live, your recording session, or however you choose to go. Record it in advance, or you're recording it live, or however you're doing this. And then then a checklist, include a checklist in all of the things you need. Do you have lighting? Is all of your notifications turned off on your computer? Do you have you connected your wireless, or have you connected via wire to your computer if it's available? Do you have a quiet space that you can actually record in? Is your mic working correctly? Have you checked your interface to see if your mic is the correct mic being used? And is there going to be any interruptions involved? Is there anything you can do to improve your environment? And the list goes on and on and on. And then after the fact, editing. Am I handing it off? Am I going to create audiograms? Am I going to create social content from this? What are the outcomes that I can expect to do with this piece of media? Is there a process that you send it off to the editor? It gets hosted, it gets posted. Show notes. Do show notes get created from this? So I call it a traffic circle. Every episode that I put in place, I live stream it in the morning, and by the afternoon, it's up on a blog post. It's up on YouTube. It's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. It's on a Spreaker. It's on all platforms. It's on iHeartRadio. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple. It's all over the place. So all of this content is going out automatically delivers once the production is completed. And so in your presentation, you can put, hey, follow up, make sure that things are done. Maybe put a note in there on how to follow up and stay connected with your guests, which I encourage you to use Dub, because you've seen my open rates. You know what my open rates are. I've shared them with you. Some of these things that are really important to understand, and the message I will continue to beat on the table with, is the idea that you can have a few systems in place to make your life so much easier. Doing a podcast is about consistency, building a cadence, developing a process, replicating that processing, and then scaling that process. I've created literally thousands of podcasts, thousands of podcast episodes, thousands of video streams and messages and things like that. And you get to the point where it's almost muscle memory. And the way you get to that muscle memory is, and like practicing any instrument, you have to actually build a system that allows you to duplicate and repeat that cycle of interest, that engagement, that authority that you're building in the market, and create create a conversation. You're only one conversation away from meeting someone, learning something new, getting a client, whatever it happens to be. So make sure that you're doing everything you can to simplify it, systemize it, and scale it. And Winject Studios is a great place to go and do this, this work, this effort. So if you have an opportunity, join the community. Make sure that you're engaged with the community, and text 843-396-2104 to get connected in this community. And I'm going to be teaching other classes, other episodes in the future. And I just want to make sure that you have the tools and the resources necessary to provide a successful roadmap for your podcast, your goals, your vision. So think about using a presentation, using a system, building a system for whatever system works for you. Put these things into perspective and build a process for yourself. That's the message. Build a process, get started, continue to improve it, improve that process that you have in place, and continue to show up. That's all you got to do. 99% of success is showing up. So they say. I think it's probably something. There's some other things in there, but anyway, let me know what you have and what you are looking forward to as a result of Winject Studios and your podcast and your goals and your ambitions. I'd love to hear from you. Reach out to me and make sure that we're building a community that is meaningful, it's important, and it's worthwhile, and it creates value every single day, because we have an opportunity right now to develop something incredibly amazing. And because you're here, we have an opportunity to actually help each other do that. You have skills that I would love to know about. And if there's any of the skills that you learn about that I can share, don't hesitate to ask. And always, as you know, kindness is cool and smiles are free. And I want you to enjoy your day. Thanks for being here. Look forward to the next episode.
This broadcast is brought to you by Winject Studios. We are an all-in-one educational platform for podcasters that revolutionizes how hosts leverage content to increase engagement with listeners, downloads, and income. We come together to focus on community, collaboration, and collective impact. For more information on how you can interact directly with our hosts, access exclusive live content with offers you can't get anywhere else from our official partners, join our purpose-driven community by visiting www.winject.com. If you're ready to build a career doing what you love, then we're ready to see you